There we go. Madiak, 1980. How are you? All right, so I first had to just make sure that it's turned on, and it appears to be on. And as you guys know, I've got to set some stuff up. So let me set a few things up, and then we'll get started. It's here, live stream. And we've already got Merlin here. That's good. Today is the 21st. 6/25/2022. And then let me put in here the Discord. Okay, Discord link. That's there. And the JeffMara NDE Clips channel. Find that. And get that for you guys. Okay. Got that. Put that there. And two more things. Actually, three more things I gotta do. That is JeffMara Podcast Facebook. Okay, I'm almost there. Then, if you want to be on my personal, okay, cool. We got two people here. All right, cool. Got that. And one more thing, and I should be good to go. Okay. Now let me set up. All right. Keep bumping my smaller. Small as I can go. You don't realize that I have two screens here, so I'm kind of back and forth between screens. And I want to be able to see you guys here and kind of check the chat there. So, happy Saturday to you if you're on this side of the planet. If you're on the other side of the planet, happy Sunday to you. Hello, Studio LB, Christopher 6307, James, Rusty Peace, Trip Walden, Tet Todd, Dragonfly, Randy Bailey, and whoever else is there. All right, so hopefully we're going to have an amazing show for you this evening. We've got two people waiting, and I guess you guys can hear me okay because no one's complaining. So, and Ginny, you finally made it. Thank you for showing up and coming to the show. Elizabeth Flynn, hi. And everybody else, hello. So Merlin is here, and we can get our weekly tarot reading. And for you guys that may or may have not seen it, I did a podcast with Merlin this week, and it is there if you guys want to check it out, if you want to know more about Merlin and his story. And maybe you should say his backstory. But if you want to learn more about Merlin, you can check out the podcast.
Hey.
Hi, Merlin.
How you doing?
Great. How are you?
All right.
Looks like you got kind of, your room looks a little bit different. You got a new setup or something?
Yeah, I'm in the brand new room. I'm in the other room at the moment, so just a different room, and it's a lot more open space, and it's just like the energy's different for sure.
Looks good.
Thank you.
All right, so you ready? All right, so when Merlin comes, what we've been doing is we give a reading to everybody in the room. You have to choose if you want to be from cards 1, 2, or 3. He'll put three different cards down. You guys choose, and then hopefully you'll get the answers that you're looking for.
Absolutely. So this deck right here is a little bit different. This was the first one I've ever bought.
What is that one?
I don't really know the artist that made it, but it's based off the Rider-Waite. But it's very similar to the Rider-Waite tarot deck. So in its drawing, its illustrations, how it portrays certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So,
how many decks do you have?
About 8 different sets of decks.
Oh, nice! Wow. You're almost like a collector of them.
Yes.
I wonder, have you ever looked around out there and seen if you can see decks that are like 100 years old or 200 years old, or if they even exist?
That would be that would be awesome, actually,
mm-hmm.
to be able to.
Do you know about the history of tarot and how far back those cards go?
I know that the Rider-Waite is one of the first ones, if not the first ones. I'm not mistaken. I'm not really into the making of it, but I'm pretty sure the Rider-Waite was the first one. And there was the artist was a mix like of the Rider-Waite. Her name was like I can't think. I got a brain fart right now. Her name is Pamela, and she was the artist of the illustration. And Rider-Waite was the guy who told her what different parts and aspects of it meant. And she was part of they were both, I think, part of the Golden Dawn, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
That's interesting.
So yeah, it's like based off of playing cards too, as well.
Oh.
And so, yeah, absolutely. So it's inspired by the regular like spades, clubs, because they also have like different suits. You got 4 suits,
right?
In tarot, you got wands, cups. I got a brain fart now. I know I played tarot all day. I've just been exhausted. I've been going 90 and nothing lately. You got 1 suits, cups, and God, why can't I think of anything? I'm just like, I don't know. So I'm just so exhausted. So excuse me if I don't name the other set, but maybe someone from the comments can help me out as I'm struggling today.
All right, now are you drawing 1 card per pile or 2 cards, like a verification card again?
So yeah, I'm just gonna draw 1 card for each of the cards I have before me. So
all right.
Just try and get the right one to come out, because
I see you keep shuffling there. Why are you shuffling so much?
Because I'm trying to make sure the correct card for the audience comes out.
Oh, you're saying you don't feel it yet?
Not the last one. The first 2 I did. Oh, okay, this one for sure. Because kind of. All right, guys. I don't even know what these are myself.
Right.
But I'll give y'all time to pick. Like, you can pick this pile, which is 1 for me, from my perspective, 2, and 3. Okay. So I'll give you time to see what resonates with you guys the most, and I'll do clarification. I'll do 1 clarification card for each pile. So
sounds good. Now, while you guys are picking, Merlin also does free readings on our Discord on Sundays. And if you want to join the Discord, the link is below. It's free to join. You just go to discord.com, you sign up, you get your free profile, and then you use my link to get into my server. It's all free. And then you can chat there. You can post videos. You can post memes. You can video chat, voice chat. You can basically do whatever you want there, as long as you guys are not bullying each other or being mean to each other. Everything is good, which generally no one's being mean anyways. I don't know why I threw that out there, but I just did. But I just wanted you to know that, it's pretty open. And I don't pop in that much. I don't really monitor it. You guys just have to monitor it for yourselves. So, yeah, Merlin he does some free stuff on Sundays. Typo had been there doing some stuff on Sundays, if you know her. And if anybody else would like to go and provide services, you're welcome to do so, as long as you give it free for everybody. All right, Merlin, let's pick some cards.
Okay. I just want to say thank you to Emperor because I had a brain fart. I know every suit. So yes, Swords and Pentacles. Those are the two I was missing. Oh goodness. Well, I've just been running 90 and nothing, it feels like. So it's exhausted mentally. A bit. Okay, so first pile, which is pile 1 right here.
All right. So are you now trying to draw a confirmation card?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So we got the confirmation card for pile 1. I don't even know what any of these are myself. So it's not like this is recording. This is all live. So y'all can see in real time how this is going, folding. No edits, none of that stuff, guys.
No editing. It's all raw.
Exactly. Raw footage, guys. Rare to get raw footage these days.
There is no question, Tanya. It's just that if you want a reading, you choose one of these piles, and that's going to be your choice for the reading for you. And for anybody else that's new, you can choose 1, 2, or 3.
Okay, so I didn't get the second pile yet. One jumped out. A few cards jumped out on top of this, but it was too many. So I'm taking the one that went to this side for sure for this. So I'm going for pile 2 now, confirmation, and we'll start it. And I'll hurry this along for you guys.
You got to.
Because I was going to ask you a question. If you have a question yourself, Jeff, I don't think I've ever offered you if you would like to know something.
I don't have any questions. I'm just looking for answers.
Okay. I am too. That's why I love you, Jeff. I love everyone that watches you, because we're all truth seekers and we're all putting the puzzle pieces together.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Pile 1.
Pile 1
is the world, but it's in reverse. Okay. Now the world in reverse isn't really typically that great, but it's the world card. So things are going like not what you want. There's stagnant energy. You're not accepting gifts. That type of energy as well. Nothing's going right. Like you're having like bad fortune. Things are not going your way. Now the confirmation card for the world is the 2 of Pentacles. As you can see, you need a balance. Okay. See, things are not going right because you need to apply balance, or some of you are trying to juggle too many things, and you're just like you're too focused on juggling instead of pursuing what you want in your life. And it's like a balance type of energy for pile 1, guys. Okay, let's see what pile 2 is. Okay, Queen of Swords. If you got pile 2, this is the Queen of Swords. All right, as you can see in the picture right here, there's a bird flying up, representing her ability to view things off in the far distance from an objective perspective. She has a sword, but she's not really being aggressive. She just wants the people to know that she has a sword, and if she has to use it, she will. That's the message there. And it's like authority, clarity, intellect type of energy. The confirmation card for pile 2 for Queen of Swords. Oh, the Hangman. Oh, wow, that's interesting. The Hangman is stuck in his position, but it gives him time to think and to reconsider his current life choices. And he can see things from a different perspective. Instead of just being upright, he's upside down. He just like see things from a different viewpoint. And it goes hand in hand with the Queen of Swords, where she's got the eagle or bird in the background that can see things from a larger point of view. Wow. Okay, guys, pile 3, guys. We got the Empress. Oh, wow. Wow. So it's like Venus energy right here. All right. The Empress is like a mother maternity type of figure, like a motherly love type also. And you can see all the grass and all the growth around her, which is represented by abundance and just growth and she's and it's ruled by Venus, so her intuition, she's a feminine type of energy and intuition type of card as well, but more so motherly type of love vibe with this as well. Okay, clarification for the Empress is, oh wow, Page of Cups. Okay, with the Page of Cups, you can see a fish coming out of a chalice. It's very absurd. And the fish coming out of the chalice it's talking about, or it's trying to convey that the water's associated with intuition and subconscious type of energy. So you would never see a fish just like jumping around in a chalice's head. So it's like going inside of your mind type of vibe as well. So if you apply the Page of Cups for the Empress, you need to get more in touch with your feminine energy as well, your intuition, your subconscious. Okay, so that's like, so it's also like another balance type of act here as well, but definitely intuition, subconscious type of things to get to the feminine energy. Okay, so I hope this is making sense for you guys.
All right, so I hope you guys this made sense to you. Merlin, thank you for coming on and giving us our weekly reading. We all appreciate you. We love you, and we wish you the best.
I love you guys too. I love y'all too. Okay.
All right, have a great weekend.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. And next we have Melinda. All right, so there's 130 of you guys there, so there should be at least another person waiting to get in. Melinda, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi, hello, and where are you coming in from?
I'm in New Rapunzel.
Oh, Mini Rapunzel. Okay, yeah. Nice to put a face with a name.
Right. See, because I got a lot of hair here.
Oh, cool.
You know what? This is perfect because Merlin did a reading for me a couple days ago. He's done a couple for me from the Discord.
Oh, cool.
And it was really interesting. I really don't have any questions like you. I'm looking for answers. That was pretty good. But I didn't really have any questions. I said, well, how about my career? And that's all I said. And he shuffled the pile real quick and 2 cards popped out. And the first card, now I'm not familiar with tarot really, so I can't tell you what they were. He probably would. But it showed the swords were crossed. But it was in reverse, saying that I knew the direction I wanted to go, which was very true. And then the second card that had popped out had to do with like my retirement would be abundant. Basically saying about retirement, which was really cool. He even said, this is recorded, this just, because it actually it directly had to do with the question that I did ask. And what's kind of awesome about that too is because I watch your show and I listen to your show all the time.
Thank you very much.
I'm the one who does all this stuff. So I got the Art of Manifesting book from Sterling Meyer, and I had started to implement the the suggestions in here. And in my art of manifesting, I had come up with the plan of my business and selling it, and that type of thing. So it really ties into all of that. I'm also the one who got the Eckankar books.
Oh, cool.
You're gonna laugh.
That's so funny. Yeah, my version is right here. I use this as a. I should probably really have like a, what do you call those, a placeholder or whatever, but I just stacked them in here. But mine are right here on my desk.
Yeah, that's what I did too. And so I had started singing Hugh,
Mm-hmm.
and because your podcasts are awesome, like hearing everybody's experiences in that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Mara. Hearing everybody's experiences in that has enabled me to put the puzzle together on what speaks to me, what not, because everybody's experience is different. And even if there isn't it's not an NDE, even an out of body, or even just everybody's experiences have really helped me to put pieces together that I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyhow, so singing Hugh for the first time I did it, I actually got a ringing in my ears. Now, not that annoying tinnitus, I believe is what it's called.
Right.
Not that ringing, which I know what that is. I listen to a lot of heavy metal, and I've listened to it really loud, and I go to concerts. That's my thing. So I know the difference between the annoying ear thing going on. But this was a soft, it was similar, but it wasn't annoying, but it was a soft ringing, like a humming ring, I guess is the best I can describe it. And I have I've sung Hugh every day. I'm hard to focus. I'm a little high strung, and so it's hard for me to focus, but the ringing is more often. And I feel like I'm getting closer to possibly being able to pop out of my body at times, because I've started meditating in that for like a year ago. I practice Reiki, and I wasn't aware, but I had started lucid dreaming. And before I did Reiki, I had only had maybe 4 lucid dreams in my lifetime. But once I started Reiki, I had several, and then I read that it's something that will happen. I don't like it. I don't know why. When I realize that I'm dreaming, I panic. And so then I try to wake myself up, and I start panicking that way. There's been a couple times I've been able to control it. And for instance, my mother has passed, and I had a dream one night that she had walked past me and wanted a hug, and I didn't give her a hug. And when I woke up, I felt terrible, of course. And I said, well, if I dream of her again, I'm going to hug her. The next night I had a dream. She started to walk past me. I realized I was dreaming, and I held her, and I said, I'm going to hold her until she falls asleep. And that's exactly what happened. So there's a couple times I've been able to not panic and use it to my good. But since I started singing Hugh, I've had like 4 lucid dreams. I don't know. And his podcast wasn't that long ago,
Right.
So I've had like 4 lucid dreams, and I'm getting, like I saw the other podcast where the gentleman was talking about the dreaming. And he was saying if you can get used to it, and control it, it can be. And so I've started asking my dreams before I go to sleep, what do my spirit guides want to tell me? What do they, so I started doing that too. And so you're going to have to just consult me. This just came in the mail like less than an hour ago.
Oh, wow. That's the original book?
It is. Look
Cool.
how thick it is.
Wow, I'd like to get that.
Yeah, A Course in Miracles. And I believe her name was Laura.
Yeah. Maybe I'll pick one up.
When I was looking online, it was saying like the easy, there was an easy version. I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be a difficult read. But I remember her saying that it's not something that you pick up and just read through. So like I said, it got here like not even an hour ago. So I'm anxious to, get started on that. I was going to order the one gentleman's suggested book, the I Am Present, but I thought I better slow my roll here because I'm not a big reader.
Right.
But I started the Art of Manifesting, and doing that. I'm not a millionaire yet, but it's coming.
Is that book more supernatural consciousness kind of stuff, or is it more businessy? And if it's, do you think that the author would make a good guest?
This one, you mean?
Yeah. Do you think that author would make a good guest?
She was your guest, Sterling Meyer.
Oh, Sterling's. Oh, okay. Wow. I didn't even put that together.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
that's what I'm saying. I totally listen to these people and I'm on it. So if you want, I'm the one that I'll do the research, like the regular person research.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. You have to let us know how that turns out.
Yeah, I mean, because one of the first things that you do besides read the book all the way through is you write release letters. And it goes back in your past. And so depending on how extensive you get, or like I'm 52. So my release, I had like 50 people I wrote down, because in the book it says be more thorough. And it's basically just to realize that when somebody else had hurt me or whatever, that wasn't their authentic self. It's more for your childhood. Because she said between like the ages of 3 and 16, something like that, but you can go past that. So you do the release letters, you actually read them, and then you do the vision board, that type of stuff. So it's more of a practical book. Cool. You can certainly use it in business and whatnot, but so I'll let you know how it goes. But some things have manifested, and I think the trick to the manifestation is because part of it is you write out an action, like, I want to manifest that I make more money in my job. And then the second part is you write down your action plan to do that. And then you visualize that. So it helps you actually put it into action, because if you read it, because you have to read this every morning and every night. And so if I'm reading every morning, I'm going to raise the price on my clients. At some point, I'm probably going to do it. So, and two, it is kind of like the law of attraction too. I believe if I'm putting it out there in the universe, it is the law of attraction.
That's great.
But, yeah. So
that's great. All right, Melinda, I have to run to the next person, but thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us. And I hope you come back, and give us an update on how you're doing. And I have some pretty cool, when I get a chance later, I've done a couple things with Hugh that I'd like to share later. So when I get, when I get a space, I may share it with people. Honestly, I hope it's so busy that I don't get a space, but eventually I will at some point. But I'd rather be busy and not have me talk, but have the guests talk.
Yeah, and I'll be back on. I got stories too. So.
All right. Well, cool.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. Parcel Art. I'm not sure. This name sounds familiar, but I could be wrong on who it is. So, she's been doing the hue. Have any of you guys out there been doing the hue? And if so, what kind of results have you been getting? And also, someone gave me a super thanks, and I want to say thank you for that. Who was that? Saw it pop up. Here it is. Miss Sister Donna Cantor. Donna, thank you so much for the super thanks. I appreciate it, and thank you for the lovely compliment. And, all right, so we'll go back. 166. So I lost my guess. I hope the person didn't jump off just so I could talk about Hugh. So every now and then I'll get a headache, and I believe it comes from my TMJ area, and the muscles that control your mouth up and down, right? All start from in the temporal region and kind of come down and attach in your mandible down here and pull it up and down. And so most of my life I've suffered from time to time with crazy, crazy painful headaches on this side. And sometimes they get out of control and I just get really painful, and I don't even want to this time I didn't want to take medication. Sometime I'll break down and take a pain pill because it's just really agonizing, and it's almost like even the pain medication, I'll take something prescription level and it still barely works. So that hopefully will give you an idea of how much pain it is. Anyways, so this week I decided, I was like desperate. I was laying in bed. It was like the middle of the night, and it used to be where if I would go to sleep, it would the headache would go away eventually, but it wasn't going away. I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like in a lot of pain. I was desperate. I didn't know what to do, so I just started singing Hugh. And then I thought about Rodney. That was my guest, Rodney Jones. If you haven't seen that podcast, go check it out because it's an amazing podcast, and he's an amazing storyteller and speaker. I mean, I don't know if I really like to use the word storyteller because he's telling his truth. It's not, telling a story. Anyways, in his thing, he talked about that he had always had this fear of water and couldn't swim. And so I think after singing Hugh, he finally was shown that a past life. So I thought, I've had a lifetime of like pain on this side of my head, and is there something in my past life? So it was in the middle of the night. I was singing it, and I sang it for a while, and I started to fall asleep. And I think I did almost just like what she just said, was I said, okay, God, what do you want to show me? And I kind of fell asleep. I kind of was falling asleep, and I kind of got a flash, and I don't know if I really saw much or if I was just making it up. It wasn't clear enough, this first one. And I thought, okay, maybe I got hit in the head with an iron in the past life, like banged in the head. And then I kind of woke up. It was better. I fell asleep. I woke up. It was better, but not all the way. And then I started singing it again, because I wanted it to, I was doing better, but I was like, okay, I'm going to do it some more. So still in the middle of the night, I was singing it again, and I fell asleep. And then luckily when I woke up in the morning, it was almost completely gone. It was basically gone, except just a little bit of a faint pain there, but it was manageable, and it was great because in the morning I had to actually record a podcast that day. And so it was manageable. I did well. I recorded the podcast. Unfortunately, as the day went on, my headache came back, and so and it was back bad again, and I still didn't want to take medication. So the next night, in the middle of the night, I was desperate again and started singing it. And it's weird when you do it in the middle of the night because you just fall asleep eventually. You just kind of fall back asleep. And I dozed off asleep, and when I woke up in the morning, my headache was totally gone. And basically, I think sometimes if my jaw gets in weird positions, it can kind of start straining my head. But generally, I may have had some faint stuff here and there, but for the most part, it's been gone since. So, I think it works. I'm going to continue doing it from time to time. I probably should do it every day, but I've been into other stuff as well lately. So I really haven't done a lot of that because I'm in other stuff, and I'll tell you what I'm into now lately. Colleen, you'll see it's with Rodney Jones, and I think it has something to do with Hugh in the title. It's very simple, and as me and any Rapunzel were talking, if you go to Eckankard's website, that you can get these books for free, and it also tells you how to sing Hugh in the book. So that's pretty cool of them. So that's that. What I'm into lately is and I got to get back into it. I'm just so crazy busy. I mean, I don't think you guys realize that shit. And I'm not complaining because I love what I do. It's just the podcast is so time consuming. Not only just recording them, but editing them, talking to people, scheduling them, answering emails, answering different people. So I get crazy busy. And plus with one of my other YouTube channels that I still work on. So anyways, there is one of the things, there's two other things I've been into. Another thing is there's a YouTube channel by this guy named Sean E. Webb. If you just look up Sean Webb or Sean E. Webb, either one. There's something called, he has a thing called Mind Hacking Happiness, and it's free. Obviously, it's on YouTube, and it's a 45-day program, and it's really pretty cool so far. I really am enjoying it. And every day, it's like a 20-minute video, and he'll give you like some homework, some simple stuff to do. And so far, I really enjoy it, and I've done about 4 or 5 days. And I wish I could do it every day. I should probably try to force myself to do it every day, but again, I get really busy, and I just sometimes run out of energy. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing I've been into lately, and I really enjoyed, was I've had at least one person, if not 2 people, from the Monroe Institute, Bob Monroe Institute. And if you go to YouTube, there's the Monroe Institute YouTube channel, and they have some sample videos that you can do, and you can do some of their meditations. It's all about binaural beats, and there's one of them on there that I really enjoy a lot. It's I guess it's Introduction to the Gateway, and I think, and don't quote me on this, but I think the Gateway is like their main product, or their main what would you call that? Their main meditation thing that they teach there. And anyways, there's 2 of them, and you want to get you can listen to the introduction one. It's about 30 minutes. There's another one that's like an open exercise of the Gateway, and I think that's more advanced, and that's like a 45-minute one. But the introduction one, it's really cool. It's a 30-minute one, and they start you with playing one tone in one ear and one in the other ear, and you start, I think you're tuning yourself or something, but it's really cool. And the first time I felt, it was like a really strange sensation. I almost felt like I was laying there floating. I don't think I popped out of my body, but I just kind of had this floating feeling. So that's something I'm recommending if you want to, do stuff like that, to check those out. Sean Webb, Monroe Institute, Mind Hacking Happiness, Sing Hugh. That's another one. And on that note, and I've done a couple of times too, and I like the other one. There's one of them, it's called On the Monroe Institute. I've done a couple of their healing ones. I think they're good. I think basically generally they're all good. There's one about kind of like manifesting. I think it's open up and receive, or allow and receive. So that might be something you might want to try those and mess around with some binaural beats. So anyways, let's tell you about what's coming up next week while we're waiting on people. Oh, wrong mouse. I recorded an NDE podcast today that will be there with you on Monday. And wait, no, yeah. And then yesterday I had a guest from India, and she is an actress. She's been both a Hollywood actress and a Bollywood actress. So she was there yesterday, and we talked about her experiences. Her name is... The volume is low. Can you hear me now? If it's still low, let me know. Anyways, her name is Seema Ramani. So that's the Indian actress, or I guess you'd say American Indian actress. She's from India, I guess, originally born in Kuwait, but she's living in India now. So that's her. And then, yeah, we talked to her. Then I had an NDE on, and this is pretty cool, is this publicist, I guess you guys know of the Doors, obviously, and you obviously know of the Beatles. This guy named Mr. Graham, I didn't write down his first name in my appointment book, basically, but Mr. Graham, who is the late Jim Morrison's brother-in-law. He married Jim Morrison's sister, and he was also friends with the Beatles before they were famous. So he's from England, obviously. So this guy is going to be coming. I'm going to be recording with him on Tuesday, and I think he has a lot of or has some angel experiences as well as other stuff. And I guess that should be pretty interesting to talk to him about his angel stuff, about the Doors, about the Beatles, and see what he has to share with us. And let me add who's here. And we can go for more of that. Sound is okay, but need louder, but I can hear us just fine.
Let's see.
iPhone.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yep. There you
Hi,
are.
this is Julie.
Hey, Julie. Welcome. And where are you coming in from?
I'm calling in from Miramar, Florida.
From Miramar, Florida?
Yes.
Is that like where I was thinking that's probably us. When I think Miramar, I think of Top Gun, but I think that one's like in California.
Well, it's in between Miami and Fort Lauderdale on the west side.
Oh, nice. So isn't that what on the west side? So that's like, where is that? There's another.
Hollywood.
I don't know. I'm getting it mixed up. My geography of Florida is obviously not amazing.
That's okay. I'm at the south end.
You're at the south end, so it's already dark there.
I know. I thought I'd come outside so I didn't disturb the family.
Oh, that's cool. So what's going on? What do you have to share with us?
Well, since I had the nerve, I thought I would share my one UFO experience that I had. I lived in Claremont, Florida, which is just outside of Orlando. Oh, my dog, sorry. And I was outside in my backyard, and I was looking up in the sky, and I thought I was seeing a falling star. And as I was trying to think of a wish, as I saw the light falling from the sky, it shot by my house. It turned colors from white to like a bright green, and it came beside my house and then went diagonally down the street. And I went back to work and told people, and no one believed me. And that was my one crazy experience. And the same house, I'll tell you one more. We like to celebrate Halloween, and my husband bought this creepy black witch to hang on the front door. And we had a thunderstorm one night, so I was sitting out on the back patio by the pool, and lightning started to strike, and it was the first time I ever saw like a black mist, and it was going in and out of the screen lanai, and every time the lightning would strike, it looked like the little witch from the front door was floating in and out of the lanai. And I was so fascinated by it that I even went up and my hand went through the mist, and then it went away, of course. But the next day I did throw away that witch, and I've never had an experience like that since. I think you have to be very careful what you do purchase. So those are my two. Well, I've had a couple of paranormal here in this house. The Wi-Fi goes in and out a lot. And sometimes I'll play the healing music, and I've had, pictures just like fall off the wall. And one time I decided to move some pictures around in the house, and the strangest thing happened. I have this wall art that I bought from Pier 1 a long time ago. And when I moved it, behind it was, I took pictures of it. It looked like a man's face. And it was just very bizarre. And I showed the whole family, and they're like, I don't know, Mom. I don't know what you're talking about, because you either see it or you don't.
Right.
And I just find the paranormal very interesting. And it's just one of my interests. I always watched the ghost hunter shows, and, was always fascinated with the UFO history and everything. So I can tell another story if you want.
Well, after seeing that UFO, how did it change you?
It did make me believe that it is real, because, I always had an open mind about it, and I'm always looking up in the sky. And here in Florida, we do see, well, you don't always see the best of stars with all the the streets and everything. But I'm always seeing comets or, something's always going on in the sky. It's amazing. So I'm always looking and waiting for the next experience.
It sounds like that was more of an orb kind of a UFO than like a ship. Would you agree?
Yeah, it was definitely not a ship. It was just really weird because I looked straight ahead and it looked like a falling star, and then it just shot down right next to my house, and then took off down the street. It did a 90-degree turn, and it was the strangest experience. And I remember it as like bright green, and this is like 16 years ago. So when I went on the internet to try to find bright green lights, you don't really find a lot of information out there at the time. So I've yet to see anyone record it, but I did see it.
That's cool.
And it was unexplainable.
That's awesome. So,
yeah.
Do you watch the? I mean, does your whole family, or at least your husband, watch the podcast with you, or is it just you?
Just me.
Just me.
I'm the one. It's my little thing.
Oh, that's okay. Maybe someday maybe eventually they'll join you.
Yes, I watch it for healing because I lost my mom when I was 24. So it's been a while, 20 years ago. And my mom died suddenly. And the morning she died, I had woken up early in the morning and I had extreme chest pain. And it was the worst pain I'd ever felt in my life. And I got up, I went to the kitchen and I drank some soda to make myself burp. And then I felt a little better, went back to lay down, and then got the phone call like an hour later that my mother had died suddenly in her 40s. She was like 46 and she died from a blood clot.
Wow.
And so, you go through those periods of mourning and trying to heal. And then that has sparked my curiosity of the afterlife even more. And I've only had one dream of her, and she came to me in a dream. She was on a stage in a coffin casket, and then she got up, and she came to me and she goes, "Julie, it's not what you think it is."
Wow.
And so that's always like, wow, what is the afterlife then?
How did she appear to you? Did she appear youthful and young, or like she did just before she transitioned?
Just like she did when she died in her 40s. And I keep trying to have another visitation or a dream about her, but she's definitely moved on. But she did haunt the house where my little brother and sister, they're 10 and 13 years younger than me. She did haunt the house for a little bit, and my sister said she did tell her to please go away, to go on back to heaven. She's dead. She should be in heaven. But what's really cool, I don't have documentation, but a week after she had passed, she had changed the answering machine voicemail because my stepfather, had changed it to his name, and hello, you reached us, we're not home. My mother had changed it. And I would call it like every day to hear her voice. And my sister told me she could hear, little like toes popping when walking in the house. And then my brother had an experience where some books were knocked off the shelf and stuff. But that only lasted while they lived there in that house for another year or two. I don't know about the next residents.
Well, you use the word haunting, but maybe she was just trying to get their attention and, knock over some books or something. You guys are not seeing me.
I know. So I've had a little bit of everything happen to me. So I'm just interested in all the experiences, and I love listening to everyone's stories, and I love your channel.
Thank you so much. And
I'm glad I finally had the nerve.
And we love you for coming on and sharing with us. So thank you so much.
Have a good night.
All right. Have a great evening. Thanks again.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, she's gone. All right, cool. See, she got up the nerve and she came and shared. That was great. 242 people here. So we should be at least 2 people here waiting to get on, and that's low numbers. That's 1%. So anyways, yeah, as I was saying, I was with the Indian Bollywood, well, she's a Bollywood actress as well as an American Hollywood actress, Seema Ramani, and I'm going to post her tomorrow night. And then I've got Mr. Graham coming up that I'm going to record on Tuesday. That's the brother-in-law of the late Jim Morrison. So that should be interesting. Let's see, what else do we have here coming up this week? I have a woman we'll be talking about Saint Germain and a couple of NDEs, I believe. And we have RJ Spina coming back. I've had Mr. Spina on once before, and I really enjoyed his podcast when he was, with all the stuff that he shared with us, especially his stuff on healing. He was a guy that I can't remember if he was paralyzed or what, but he healed himself. So he's going to be coming back and sharing with us next week.
Hey man, how you doing there?
Steven, how are you, brother?
Not good.
You looks like you're in a different room today. Are you?
I'm on a different laptop. My laptop crashed and a guy just assaulted me, so I had to call the police.
Wow. Are you all right? I mean,
I'm doing terrible.
are you physically okay? You're not in any.
I don't know. I'm in pain. I'm in misery. I'm suffering. It's like a never ending nightmare.
Wow. How long ago did you call the police?
Well, yeah, this morning he came into my room and threatened to beat me up, and then I think he's on drugs, and then he started yelling at me. So I went into my room and locked the door, and he was banging on the door. And if you call the police just say, "Oh, tell your manager," and if you tell the manager, they say, "Oh, just tell the police." So nothing's ever done.
Wow. So did you tell the management today?
Yeah, and they say, "Oh, we'll just make a note of it." It's like they don't care.
Jeez.
Yeah, everything is backwards in my life because my dad filed down my teeth, and he was a dentist, and then my whole family denied it. And they said he was delusional. So they put me in a mental ward and forced me on drugs. And then they said I was a criminal. So then the mother of this woman I love, she would write restraining orders, and they'd just do everything backwards. Like they'd arrest me and then give me a restraining order and then say, "Oh, I violated it." Like nobody follows any laws or nobody cares. It's just everything's backwards.
Are you still living with filed down teeth now, or did you get like?
Oh yeah, it's a nightmare, and they're infected, and I feel like shit. My heart hurts, and it's like a nightmare.
I wish I knew what.
That's why I have a spirit with me, because I was suicidal, and I put the picture of this woman, and then after a couple of weeks, she started pressing down on my bed, and so that's why I have a spirit with me, is because they can see that I'm suffering.
Well, that makes sense now that she's there to kind of protect you.
Yeah, so normal people don't have that because they're not suicidal and they're not.
Wherever you're living, can you transfer to like a different place to live?
Well, it's kind of like, it's like the grass is greener. It's like, unless I'm sure that things are like, I need assurance. Like not just get used to it type of attitude. I need like people to make sure. That's what caring is, making sure that things are working out, not just get used to it or whatever.
Right. So what is the situation right now? I mean, one thing is I've never heard you mention your mother. Are you on good terms with your mother?
She won't talk to me.
So neither her or your father won't talk to you?
My dad listens to whatever I say, but then he makes excuses. He says, "Well, I'd like to help, but," and then he has his excuse.
He would never let you move back in?
He says he'd like to, but your mother's against it, and my siblings they're just out having their lives. They don't live at home. But my brother, I used to be able to talk to him about sports and the weather, but then like he gets angry about, and he has a PhD too, so he's he's a professor.
Interesting.
And then my sister like just hates me. She just hates my guts.
It's interesting because I thought,
and wherever I go, the spirit's with me. When I was in jail, though, I feel her. I don't know if it's like if things are really bad, like it's not. It's more like when I'm still and resting, and that's when I feel her. Then.
Gosh, I lost my concentration. Oh, I was gonna say, I feel like you're a really smart guy, and now it makes sense. Your dad's a dentist, your brother's a PhD, and here you are.
I'm very creative too.
And speaking of creative,
because I can think of jokes like, I may not be a smart man, but I know how to run an economy. People can't pay $10 for gas. You got all the prices. You can't afford a $50,000 electric riding lawnmower in Greenbow, Alabama. I love Jenny.
I think that your videos are picking up traction because someone asked me the other day if I'd seen your new video of orbs.
Yeah, I haven't made one in a while because the computer crashed, and I was recording voices too, but then, so maybe I'll try to get that fixed, but it's kind of like I'm overwhelmed. That's how it's kind of like if someone said you have to clean up a big mess before you can start working on anything every day. At a certain point, the mess is so big that all you're doing is working on that. And then every free time, you just want to rest and try to take your mind off it. So
I feel like you're a Christian because of the comments you made.
And we talked about this. So I'm only concerned with Jesus.
Right.
And like, he's the authority. So I had a personal experience with him where I felt surrounded by his presence, and he's loving, powerful, and wise. And then when I woke up after that, this was like 4 a.m, I felt his presence for a few hours. Like, he's got so much power. And so his mission in life makes sense if you have that much power. We don't have that much power. We don't feel that much, but he had a lot of power. People said that they just wanted to touch his robes just because he had so much power. They just want to touch his robes.
Well, what I was thinking is that, have you considered joining a church that would be, somewhat, whatever denomination it would be, that would be aligned with your viewpoint and your beliefs, that maybe you would, if you joined a church, maybe you would find a community.
I really don't like church.
I thought maybe you would find a community that would be helpful for you. I think your internet's you got a laggy internet.
Yeah, I just, it's kind of like if your house is burning down and they say, well, just find a community, and then eventually someone, it's kind of like, I'm getting, the worse I get, the more desperate I get. And it's like, then it's like, it's not like I haven't been to churches and talked to priests and pastors, and it's just that. Yeah, I call prayer hotlines because I don't have any friends or anything. So I call them, and then they'll listen for a little bit, and then they'll say a prayer. So that's better. If you call the suicide hotline, they don't care. And they just want to put you in a mental ward, and they just want to force you on drugs. They don't want to help you with any of your problems, because all these systems, and I say systems, are designed for the people up at the top. So like low-level workers might care more. Like if I call the 911 operator, she's a low-level person. She'll take things more seriously than the judge. The judge will say, doesn't matter, and who cares, and sit there and shut up. And so like the people at the top are the people that's supposed to care the most, but they care the least. And if I get a complaint, they'll just ignore it. Like any big system, they'll just ignore it.
Well, I don't know. I'm a little stuck. I was trying to see how else we can help you. Maybe is your computer locking up again? I think it is. Are you there?
Trying to get things in the right order. Yeah, it's my back. Can you hear me?
Now I can't. Now you're on Discord, right?
Yeah, my name is Ulti, ULTI on there.
And so there's over 300 people there, and I'm sure that basically every time I look, there's about 10 people there. You ever hang out and chat with any of those people?
Yeah, I'm not too big on that. So, like, I'll just make like a little joke or something, but that's it.
All right, give me 1 second here.
You know, I heard you're gonna have a guy on that. You know, he knew Paul McCartney. You know, when we wrote songs back in the '60s, we weren't thinking, let's top the charts. We're thinking, in 40 or 50 years, we want people to be making documentaries about this stuff.
Did you hear me earlier that this guy used to be friends with the Beatles before they were the Beatles? Basically, that he's coming on Tuesday. So maybe he'll tell me who was the most spiritual guy in the group. Was it George? I think
they're all spiritual people. They were all interested in that.
Mm-hmm. I don't know for sure. It'll be interesting to see what he says. I always thought it was George. I thought he was the one that was really into going over into India.
He was. I think he was on that scale of consciousness. I think George was the highest. Mm-hmm. He was so there's spiritual energy and then there's ego energy,
right?
So then they're kind of fighting against each other because in Christianity they say we have a sin nature and we have a spiritual nature,
right?
So like there's no sin in heaven because we don't have a ego nature there.
Right.
Everyone's loving, everyone's friendly, everyone's great.
Right. Yes, sir. All right, brother, I've got to do what I've got to do. I've got 4 people in the waiting room.
All right, well, Well, thanks for having me on, everyone, and I appreciate all the prayers and all that.
All right.
God bless.
And if you want to know, I'm sure you are going to put your YouTube channel in the comments, right?
Sure, I'll do that. Yep.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Cheers. All right, I think Vicky's next. And I think Vicky was a guest. I'm pretty sure she was. Let me make sure on that. In the comments, right?
Sure, I'll do that.
All right. Take care. Yeah, she is. She was. There you are. Hey, Vicky.
Hi, Jeff.
How are you? Nice to see you again.
Yeah, you too.
Are you in Australia? I'm trying to remember. When was that?
Yes.
It was 8 months since we've seen each other.
Is that right?
Yeah, I can't believe it. Time has flown by that fast. That's amazing. Well, I'm glad to have you back. I say all the time that I meet guests and it's like our paths cross, and most of the time I never see them again. It's not by choice. We just kind of lose touch. But it's nice to have you back. What are you up to?
Well, I've been very, very busy since we were last talking.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to thank you too for allowing me to go on your podcast, because I just got introduced to so many people they found me on your podcast, and it just expanded worldwide, especially in America. So thank you so much for.
Oh, thank you. And for those of you that are wondering, Vicky is podcast number 285. She was on I pulled you up. I just pulled you up. She was on 8 months ago. And the title is "She was taken to a room of knowledge during her near-death experience."
Yeah. And I have something good to share with you. So since I think it was a few months after I had done that podcast with you, I had, it's one of those where you're not dreaming, like a lucid dream, where you're not here, and you know that it's not dreaming. You know that you're getting taken into another dimension.
Okay.
And I was taken back to the same room with the guide, the spiritual being that took me there in the first place.
Can you I'm sorry to interrupt you, but can you refresh my memory on that room again, because I forgot.
So when I had actually died, and I had known I was out of my body, it was like an energetic being, and I knew it was kind of like a male type energy, and he took me to a room, and I kept calling it the room of knowledge because it was lined with books.
Okay.
Like more books than you can possibly imagine. Like
the Akashic records or something?
Yeah. Yeah. And you can look at a book at a cover that's closed and know everything that's in it. So that was my first experience. And it was just like I remember when I first went into that room, I was told, you won't remember it all now. Like I had all this information, like you get downloads. And I had all this information, but I didn't recall it straight away. And over the months, it's like I'm recalling what was there. Maybe it's too overwhelming to know it all at the one time. So as my life goes on, it's sort of fed back to me. So this was a couple of months later, and I had this dream where I was taken back into that same room. And this time I got more of a vision of what it was like. It was a slowed down version. I got to spend more time in there. And I was looking at these books, and they're lined up, like a library. They're all hardcover, and they've got letters on the outside. And this one book, I'd written it down. It was JYTH, were the 4 letters that were written on the outside of the book. And I knew that in the book were people's records of their past and their future. Whatever hasn't even happened yet, but the records are there. And some of the people I recognized, and some of the people I had no idea who they were. And I got to open the book, and I was looking at different people's names and looking at their past and looking at their future. And I was pouring love into some of them, like they really needed healing right now. I would have loved to have known, like, if these people like felt something different the next day or something like that. So I did that, and then I got to see that there is bridges between dimensions. You go over a bridge to go to a different dimension. And I got to go to one area. And I'd written down, when I was in this, it's kind of like being in an area of knowledge about one particular thing. Then you could go another way and have another area of knowledge, and go another way and have another one. This one was all about people now, in this time now, of being consciously aware through their own forgiveness. So forgiving situations they found themselves in the past, to stop this, this constant judging ourselves as though we're doing something wrong, when all we're doing is going through an experience. But kind of like our physical egoic self looks at it as though we're doing something wrong and making a judgment about it. And I could see like these cups of forgiveness just getting poured into people, and different people going through different levels of understanding that. So sort of at the moment, I seem to keep coming across a lot of people that are really, really frustrated and agitated, because I feel like this forgiveness is coming up inside of them, but they don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to process it. And yeah.
Now you could definitely tell that this was an experience and not a dream. It was like
not a dream,
completely different.
Yeah. Yeah. It's Have you experienced that yourself, or you know?
Well, I never know for sure, but I've had dreams that felt more real than others, and will affect me for days. I'll keep thinking about the dream, and and so yeah. I mean, like I said, I never know for sure. I mean, I haven't had an NDE, so I have nothing to compare it to.
Yeah.
But
I feel like we're in our dreams when we do astral traveling, and that we're going into other dimensions anyway.
Mm-hmm. I was mentioning earlier that I've been experimenting with the Monroe Institute's channel. Do you know much about the Monroe Institute?
No, I don't.
The Monroe Institute is from this guy named Bob Monroe. I think, I don't know, 40s or 50s. He started doing this experiments with the binaural beats, and they've done all kinds of things, and so I was they have, like, on their, if you go to their YouTube channel, they have different meditations, and they have one, I think their main thing they do is called the Gateway, or the Gateway program, and maybe that's the Gateway to the Universe. I have never taken the program, so I don't know, but I've been doing the Introduction Gateway meditation. It's about 30 minutes, and they start out playing one, it's interesting. They'll play one, a binaural beat is one tone in one ear, and then they just lower the tone like a few hertz in the other ear, and it creates a wobble effect, wah, 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 in your brain. And but I was doing it, the Gateway one, and the first time I did it, I felt like I had this kind of like floating feeling. It's kind of wild. And then today I was doing it this morning, and I was starting to get like visions, but the visions were like seeing stuff for real, like as if I was looking in somebody's garage or something. And I was trying to think while I was laying there, I was like, am I like actually like projecting my consciousness into somebody's garage, or what am I doing? So
yes, you would be. Yeah, you would
maybe,
be.
I don't know. I just
that's how we do remote viewing. So
there you So maybe that
That's funny that's called the Gateway, because I have a membership area on my website called the Gateway.
Oh, wow. And all right, well, I got to run because I give everybody like a certain amount of time. But before we go, I want to say again that you can check out her podcast. I think it was 285. And check out, what is your website?
www.VickyButtonPsychic.
VickyButton. And I forgot what you do. You're a psychic, and what else do you happen to do?
I'm a psychic. I do remote viewing. I do lost items. I do connect with medium, connect with people that have passed over. I've just published my first book about 60, because I'm 60 years of age this year. So I've done 60 years of everything that's happened spiritually over those 60 years.
Oh, congratulations. You just published the book?
Published it on Amazon.
Oh, great. What is it?
It's called I Predict.
I Predict. All right, great.
Yeah.
And the book is like a memoir of what you've been doing over the last 60 years?
Yeah, and everything I've learned and experienced, and all the story, like real-time stories about things that have happened. So.
Cool. Well, has your NDE in there?
Yes.
All right, awesome. All right, so there you guys have it. If you guys like, go check it out. Check out her website. Check out her book, and thanks for coming by and sharing with us.
Thanks a lot, Jeff.
All right. I got to run. It was great catching up with you.
Yeah. See ya.
All right. Take care. All right. So that was great to see Vicky again. Parcel Art is still here. And I tried to get Parcel Art in last time, and it fell apart. But we'll see if we can get her back in. We got 250 people, so that's great. I'm going to put ask to start video. Okay, we're almost there. It's connecting to audio. It's kind of interesting when they have the blurred out background, because the one that's blurred out. Oh. Okay, and this is my nice card that Penny Sutton made for me. Penny there, she's probably here tonight. And if you want to ever get a chance, check out her 10 Vites on Etsy. Parcell, Art, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
When they have the blurred yes, but you want to go ahead and go to the YouTube and turn off the volume on the YouTube.
Okay, hold on a moment.
Because I still hear it echoing. Okay.
How's that?
I think that's there. All right, so what is your name and where are you from?
I'm Judy Parcell.
Judy.
And I wanted to thank you for having me on. I've been looking very much forward to this. And I've been talking to you on Facebook through iMessage.
Okay, yes. Okay.
And trying to work out how to do this with you.
All right, I'm glad you finally made it.
Well, thank you. Somebody came to my door and brought me dinner in the middle of my signing up.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah. So
where are you based out of?
I'm in Trinity County, California, up in the Yola Bullies.
Don't know where that is.
You know where Redding? No, you're from Texas, right?
Right, yeah. Redding sounds familiar, but I don't know where that is either.
Okay, if you Sacramento, it might be 200 miles north of that in the mountains.
Oh, nice.
Not the Sierras, but the coastal range.
Nice. How do you like it up there?
Love it. I've been up here since 2020.
Well, you're probably not too far.
2000.
You're probably not too far from Oregon then, no?
No, you're absolutely right.
That's nice. Is it still the redwood forest up there?
No, they're more over northwest of me.
Okay. Have you seen Bigfoot up there?
Yes, you know what I'm going to talk about.
Oh, wow. That was great. I'd forgotten that just because I had that guest recently, the guys with the Bigfoot movie. I don't know if you saw that podcast.
I saw that. And then I messaged you.
Okay.
And then you said, well, why don't you come on? And I said, okay, why not?
All right. Tell us what you saw.
Well, my adventures with them started when I was 11 years old in Red Bluff, California. That's about 72 miles south of me. And I was in 1952, 11. And my brother and I were crossing a bridge and we were going to go play in the woods. And my brother ran over to the left side of the bridge, was looking over the rail. And I heard something over here on my right side. And when I looked, there was a juvenile Bigfoot. Now, in 1952, nobody knew anything about them. There was no tinfoil hats going on or people laughing about it. But we looked at each other for, maybe 15 seconds, and then he disappeared completely out of sight in front of me. So it was my first encounter. And then that night when I got home, I told my father about it. And he says, oh, I know what those are. He said, they call them Sasquatch. And we had them in Wisconsin where I grew up. And that was the end of the conversation. And I didn't know if I could screen share with you because I do art. I'm an artist. Okay.
Let me turn it on. Let me see. Give me 1 second here.
Okay.
Okay, I'm in Zoom. Where is my security here in Zoom? Okay, I will do this, and I think that, okay, that, you should be able to do it. So all right, let's see. This is the juvenile one, what you saw, right?
Exactly, and I paint, I'm an artist, so I paint everything.
Cool.
They aren't real fond of cameras. So go to my desktop.
Is that Yosemite we're looking at?
Yes, that's my desktop. But this is my first encounter.
Is this the juvenile one?
This is the juvenile male. And what I noticed about him the most was he was very intelligent in his eyes. And I wasn't frightened because I didn't know what it was. So when he disappeared, then I ran off the bridge and went down to see where he had gone, and I never saw it.
What kind of feeling did you get when you were looking at each other in the eyes? Did you feel afraid, or did you feel connected, or what?
I didn't feel connected, didn't feel afraid. I felt a lot of curiosity on my part. And I now know that they were very curious about humans, but that was it. And then I emphasize the eyes here because they were so intelligent and so piercing. And that was it. There were no feelings, just that. And then, pardon?
No, nothing. Go ahead. I was just saying that's amazing.
Yeah. So after my dad said he knew what it was at dinner that night, and I forgot about it, after that, I wouldn't go play in the woods. I didn't know why I didn't want to play in the woods. It's almost like I didn't remember the incident. And later on, when I grew up a bit more and got married, and I was living in the Bay Area, my husband loved to go camping and go panning and all of that. And I had a horrible fear of going, but didn't know why. But I went because I wanted to, support his interest. And anyway, that persisted. And after a while, we got a divorce and I moved up to Trinity County. And by this time, I'd had dial-up and I had my very first computer. This was the year 1999. And I had seen the Patterson-Gimlin film that took place in Bluff Creek that maybe those two gentlemen who make the movie were talking about. I can't remember if they talked about that or not. So I said, well, I wonder if there's anything on the internet about Bigfoot. And sure enough, it was all over the internet. People were investigating it, researching it, and so on. And I saw Bigfoot Research Organization on there. And I looked in their database, and in Trinity County, about 3 miles from where I live, had maybe a year or so after I'd been settled in my house, and I started having a lot of noise on my property at night, which didn't make sense to me, like heavy footfall around the house. And it's like the ground would vibrate a bit from it, just very heavy footfall. Something was running across the top of my roof. I have a barn-shaped house. I've forgotten what they call that, but there's no place for wildlife to get up there and run around. And then I got slaps on the back of my house. And I began to suspect that maybe it was Bigfoot, because if they were 3 miles away, why couldn't they be on my property? And around this time, I ran into a lady who was a Choctaw medicine woman. Her name was Kat Hansen, and she had been dealing with them since she was 5 years old. And her whole website was dedicated to people who wanted to have some answers. And she had a lot of information. And I went and I engaged with her, and it was comforting to me because I knew what I could do and what I couldn't do, and if I was safe or I wasn't safe, because they're pretty big, they're pretty large. And also I would see them driving to town out on the country roads. It was nothing for them to run across the road or at night run alongside the road. I mean, I would just see them everywhere.
What do you think that there's an active population living out there at all times, or are they just kind of interdimensional beings that pop in and out?
Mine come and go on my property. I don't know if they migrate. The disappearing stuff I've seen several times, where they just like disappear into thin air. And so they could be interdimensional. They could be both spirit and physical. I just don't know.
Have you painted any other pictures of them?
Yes.
Can you show us?
Now this was the only painting I have. The rest of them are drawings. And if I may, I'll go ahead and do another one here.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one I sent you.
Right, I remember that one.
Okay, this is the one that looked in the window at me. I am kind of a night owl, and I have my computer by the window, and I saw something out of the edge of my eye, and this one was orange color, like a orangutan. And we looked at each other. He was maybe just, the window was between me and him, so it's about 5 feet away. And we just looked at each other, and then I got startled and he got startled, and he disappeared into the darkness. And so that was that one. Mm-hmm. And I've had other encounters too. I could go on and on.
At this point in your life, do you have any fear of them?
Only when I see them, it scares me. They are so big. That's the only thing. And I do tell them, please, I'm not messing with you. Don't mess with me. Mm-hmm. I'm just a little old lady. Take it easy.
Well, obviously they haven't hurt you yet, so I would feel that that you shouldn't be afraid. But who am I to know?
Everything's fine and has been fine, but if a rogue entered the picture, that could change everything. Everything in life changes all the time for all of us, and I don't know what goes on there, but I do know that Kat, the Choctaw medicine woman, told me never to feed them, and I don't. And because they'll come back. She said, it's like people, if you give them money all the time, they'll expect it, or if you give them food all the time, they'll expect it. The wildlife isn't any different, so it's not a really good idea to feed them. Mm-hmm. And I had a couple other ones I wanted to show you about things that I've heard about them, but I haven't experienced myself, if you're open to that.
Yeah, let's see your other pictures here first, real quick.
Okay. They can adorn, they're very intelligent. What we do know about them is they have done DNA testing on them, and the mitochondrial DNA, which is the female side of them, is 100% human. There are white papers on it. There's been all kinds of samples collected off their fecal matter, off their hair and skin. Anyway, they collect it. So there have been white papers written on it. The nuclear DNA, which covers the male side, is right now considered an unknown species. So the reason I show this guy with horns on is because sometimes they like to decorate themselves.
And you've seen that?
No, I have not seen that.
Oh,
I've just heard of cases of it.
Okay.
And then this other one is, I have to throw a female in for spring. So anyway, they do adorn themselves, and the females are interesting because what I've been learning is they can be, if your child gets lost in the woods, they can bring your child back. Sometimes they do that, sometimes, not always, because they're mothers themselves. And maybe that's due to them being 50% human. I have no idea. It's all guesswork at this point. But anyway.
Why do you think nobody has any clear pictures of them?
Because they don't like cameras. They will allow tape recorders, but not cameras.
And that to me, that means they must be very intelligent beings if they even know what a camera is.
Yes. They know what a gun is too. They don't like those. And they don't like dogs. They will kill a dog. Not always, but for the most part, they will. They have about zero tolerance for them. They will steal your chickens. We got a lot of people that farm up here. They'll steal your chickens, your sheep, or whatever, because they're going to eat. And if it's easily available, they will take it. That's not all the time, but sometimes.
Oh, it's amazing. Well, Judy, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us. I've got to run on to the next guest, but I really appreciate you, and I hope you come back and share some more with us. I'm here every Saturday.
Okay. And I want to thank you very much for having me on, Jeff. And I love your podcast. I watch it all the time.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, I listen to it and I draw art when I'm listening to you. And you and I go to bed by you too sometimes, you know.
Oh, so yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, a lot of people do that. That's what I found is a lot of people like to listen before they go to bed, and at least you're getting, you know, generally some positive stuff. So I think, you know, makes sense.
Well, the NDE stuff is really reassuring. It's really wonderful. It's just don't worry as much. Anyway, thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Have a great rest of your weekend.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, that was cool. Got to see some Bigfoot pictures and talk to someone who's actually seen one, or actually more than one. I'm not sure who's next. I'm going to go to Maria, and if Maria is not next, my apologies to Tina. It's good. We have about 300 people here, so there should be 3 of you in the waiting in line. Ask guest to start video.
Hi.
Hi, Maria.
Oh, okay. Hi.
How are you? You've been on before, right?
No, it's the first time, probably the last.
Oh wow, okay. For some reason, I felt like you've been on before. Where are you calling in from?
I'm calling from Athens, Greece.
Wow, I saw your name and it said I was thinking to myself, it looks like this is a Greek name. So if you're all the way in Athens, it's got to be 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning over there. So
it's 4:30, yeah.
Thank you so much for being up so late with us.
It's a very nice podcast.
Thank you.
I watch it quite often.
Well, you must feel proud because a lot of people describe the Akashic record rooms or places in heaven to look like Greece, like the Parthenon and Greek buildings. So
yes, I've heard that, and it seems weird to me, but okay.
So have you had any experiences?
Yes. In general, I was raised in a family that we were basically atheists.
Okay.
And when I was a young adult, like around 19 years old, I had some weird things happening that I could feel other people's feelings. And it lasted for approximately 2 years. And the thing is that the notion of feeling other people's feelings doesn't even exist in Greek language. So, in English, years later, I found out the word clairsentience, but this doesn't exist as a notion. So it was very weird for me, and I couldn't describe it to other people. And plus, my family was atheists, and it seemed very weird. I mean, to me too. I was doubting myself. Anyway, recently, like approximately 1-2 years ago, I decided something triggered those memories, and I decided to look up what was that. And searched, and I found all weird things about clairsentience, about chakras, about third eyes, and it seemed crazy, but I couldn't explain it any other way, you know? And anyway, this whole, I do not want to talk about that part of the, because it's very personal to me.
Sure.
But the thing is that it opened up my mind that maybe there's something more. Maybe I'm not crazy. And I started looking up NDEs, out of body experiences, and it's been like 1-2 years that I'm watching videos on YouTube. And I also try to look it up in another perspective, like from a physics perspective. I'm an engineer, so I am able to understand some the physics behind this. That how can I explain this? That science doesn't disprove it. So this was interesting for me because I'm coming from this type of family, like science above all. And anyway, like in the beginning of October, I had a dream that felt very weird. And I dreamt that I went out for drinks. This was basically during quarantine, okay? That I went out for drinks, and I found myself at a table, and opposite me and a bit to the left and diagonally to the right, there were sitting two women that are older than me. And the table was dark. We had candles and drinks on the table, and they were talking about what they were doing as jobs. And in the dream, I fell silent, and I was wondering why I don't speak, because I think my job is pretty interesting. So why am I not speaking? When I woke up, I remembered the dream. I remembered it. It was like, felt so weird. I don't tend to dream people that I don't know. And it felt off for some reason, but I couldn't pinpoint it. And even now I cannot. What felt weird, but it registered in my brain. And then like 4 weeks to a month passed by, and I'm invited for drinks from a guy I didn't know that I met through an app. And he said that we're gonna be with my friends there, so come meet us. And I find myself at a point at a table with two women, one opposite and a bit to the left, the other diagonally. They're talking about their jobs. The table is dark, the environment is dark, candles and drinks on the table. And I have this weird feeling that I've lived this before. And I'm like, okay, Maria, like, no biggie, you've had deja vus before, it's just a glitch in the brain, no, don't pay attention. And I'm like, no, wait a minute, I dreamt that exactly the way it went. Like, it was a month ago, I remembered because I woke up and I thought about it. And I fell silent because I realized that I'm living my dream exactly the way it is. And I fell silent like I did in the dream. Anyway, when I got back home, I instantly started searching because I was like, okay, if clairsentience is something that happens to other people as well, then this must also exist. So I started searching and found out it's called déjà rêvé, already dreamt. And apparently other people have this experience too. Some people claim that they have it like 2 or 3 times per week.
Wow.
So it happened to me once. And I would have easily put it in the, okay, you're confused category, you know? But the thing is that the dream felt weird, and I thought about it when I woke up. Like, I thought about it. Like, why did I dream that? This was not like the kind of dream that I would dream, and it felt weird for some reason. I couldn't pinpoint it. So that's the story.
Do you think that you had that dream, that you were waking yourself up to these abilities that you have?
From my understanding, like, we all have abilities. It's the point if we accept them or not. I think that what happens with starting believing and not how do I say this? Not gaslighting myself that this didn't happen, that I'm crazy, that those instances back there, I was confused, when I started seeing that other people had this experience, because that was way old. I'm 35 years old now. We're talking about like 15 years ago those instances taking place. So when I started looking up approximately 1-2 years ago, what was that back then? Because back then, even if I had searched on Google, I don't think I would have found anything. I started believing that, okay, maybe I'm not crazy. Other people have the same experiences. I had no one to discuss it back then. And so I think this opening up of ideas like allowed me to be more, to receive this message. I don't know how to explain it, but I think I would have had the dream if I was like 2 years ago, before I started searching.
As an engineer, how do you reconcile dreaming the future before it happens?
Well, I'm not a physicist, so my knowledge in physics is limited in comparison to a physicist. But apparently a 4D object could pass right through us and we wouldn't even know. So this doesn't obviously doesn't negate the possible existence of souls. And there are some theories that say and claim that if you proceed with equations, the time gets deleted, and at the point you get to an equation, that time doesn't exist. So some people say that maybe time is depending on other, how to explain this? It's not something inevitable, kinda. How maybe it is a variant that is dependent on other variants, and as a result, you could negate it, kind of. I don't know if I'm saying this nicely. Sorry.
I think I get it. Do you? Now, you said that your family was atheist, and I'm assuming that meant you too. Where are you now on your spiritual journey? Are you still atheist or spiritual or what?
Well, my family was atheist, okay, but for some reason we still followed the very basic traditions, like doing Easter, for example. But we didn't actually believe there was something there, more like just going with the flow of the population. And I think now that I cannot explain any other way what that dream. And I think now that I do believe there's something, and I do believe that we have souls and that we are eternal. And if we are eternal, I see zero reasons why we live only once.
Are you open to having more of these spiritual experiences?
Yes. I've always been a bit intuitive. Like sometimes you have this gut feeling that something is off, and then it turns out that indeed you did well to listen to that gut feeling, or maybe you didn't. And then it turns out you're like, oh my God, I should have listened to that. And I had that, but I couldn't explain it, but it was something that everybody had and everybody could relate. So I didn't pay too much attention, kind of. So, I mean, having a feeling that somebody doesn't like you, but you don't see any reason why they wouldn't. Haven't done anything. And maybe they have just met you. And then afterwards, you find out they don't like you for this and this reason. So how could you know that? I've had some instances where I was warned for some like stuff, for some stuff, like, and I didn't know how, but I felt something felt off, and then afterwards it was proven. So I can't look into the future. How could I possibly know that unless somehow I knew, but without, knowing that I knew. So I don't know how to explain this better.
Well, Maria, I appreciate you coming and sharing with us and staying up this late. If you happen to wake up on a Saturday night in the middle of the night and have another amazing dream, and if it's in the middle of it's 4 o'clock in the morning, then be sure to pop on and share with us.
Okay.
You never know.
I don't know if I was.
You never know, and you said you were open to it, so that means maybe you'll have another dream like that.
Okay, that's true.
Right.
Anyway. Thank you, and very nice podcast.
Thank you very much, and thank you for joining us. I appreciate you. Have a great rest of your morning.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. All right, Tina is here. Now, Tina has been a guest twice. She's had multiple NDEs, and we'll see what she's up to. And Tina is connecting to. But I'll put my sign up again.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there you go.
Come here, Pa. Little Pa, come here. He's not used to hearing anybody's voice in here. He's barking at you.
His name is Pa?
Little Pa.
Little Pa.
Yeah, he's a native dog. He's a wild man. And this one, come here, Doc. This is my big fat boy.
And that's Doc.
Doc Holiday.
Oh, that's a good name. And he loves giving you kisses.
He is a kiss thief. Yep. He's in love with me. The feeling's mutual.
So what is going on this week? What do you got new to share with us?
Well, I've been doing the hue.
Oh, okay, cool.
And like I incorporated it into sacred acoustics. So when I'm, when we're listening to the Om soundtrack, I do hue with the Om.
Oh, how does that turn out?
Yeah, well, I'm doing a whole salad shish kebab thing with all this spiritual stuff. And also, while I'm doing that, I'm doing the Monroe Institute breathing technique where your eyes are open, you breathe in, and when you exhale, you say Om, but I'm saying hue. So I've got all this going on. And somehow, some way, I came across this, breathing technique. And where is it? I've got it right here. Can you see it?
It's hard to see. It'd probably be best if you just read it to us.
It's the Wim Hof Method. I don't know if you've ever heard
I've heard of the Wim Hof Method. It's pretty popular.
I've never heard of it. And when I started doing it, I was so excited because one of my very first spiritually transformative experiences was when I was cat sitting. And so I'm sitting in this lady's house and she doesn't believe in birth control. So she's got like 17 cats. So she lives in a mansion. And so I'm sitting in this house and all of a sudden I keep feeling like there's presence, there's people or presences around me, spirits or something. And they want me to get something, to find something, to understand something. And I'm like, and I had just had my very first like NDE that was like, that's the one where I left my religion and I didn't know why. And so I'm like totally new to these experiences. So I sit down Indian style and all of a sudden I start breathing this way. And it's like, and, but it's like something inside of me is doing it because I didn't know how to do it. And then after a while, I just stopped breathing and I didn't have the need to breathe. And that lasted for about 15 minutes. And during that time, I had total recall of when I go to sleep, sometimes I go to other places. And I went to this other place and it was like an advanced civilization. And I don't know where it was, but I knew I was supposed to be there for another initiation. And I knew I was there for initiation. But it's right on the ocean. and the ocean comes up into this swimming pool, and this swimming pool is like carved out of marble, or yeah, I think it's marble. And it's encrusted with jewels. And over to the right side of this pool, there's an underground labyrinth that's submerged underwater. And that's my initiation. I've got to swim in there and find my way through there. And I go in happily and willingly, like this is what I came to do. And so I get in there and I get halfway through, and it's pitch black, dark in there. You can't see anything, and it's underwater. And I realize that I've gone in too far, and there's no way to get back out and breathe again, and I'm going to die in there. And I'm desperate to breathe, and my body starts, like jerking for air. And all of a sudden, in the pitch black darkness, I see this tiny little, it looks like a tiny little tornado, or like a little funnel coming down through the water, and it goes right into the top of my head, and it puts a breath through the top of my head and fills my lungs with air. And I no longer have the desire to breathe. And so this whole 15 minutes while I'm in this state of not needing any breath, that it's almost like that experience was happening again. That breath came again and was in me. And it came as a result of doing that Wim Hof breath or whatever. I was told it's called Indian breath. But anyways, after that, there were 3 beings that were standing right behind me, and I was like sitting on the floor on the carpet, and they gently like laid me back on the ground, and my head like was laying there on the carpet, and then they put my chin back like they were going to give me CPR, and each one of them, one by one, all 3 put a breath into me that went into me and went into my lungs. It went in my mouth. I felt it go in my mouth, and it went down into my lungs. And I have no clue what all that is about still, but I know like one more piece of the puzzle of that experience was this breath. And I don't know how long people can like hold their breath doing this practice, but man, my body is alive. Every cell of it's alive while I'm doing that. So I'm having a lot of really interesting results from doing the Hue and the Monroe and the sacred acoustics. Like I'm incorporating it all.
I think it's interesting. Have you ever tried the Gateway one on the Monroe and the website?
That's the one I'm doing.
The YouTube one, the Gateway exercise or whatever.
Yes, that's the one I'm doing. And when you do the part where you're kind of like doing an affirmation and you're inviting like masters and teachers and stuff like that, I always ask for masters and teachers that are like Christ-minded, which brings me like to my next result, which I was never going to share. I was going to take this to my grave with me. But on Father's Day, I went to go riding, and the only thing my dad, since he passed in 2009, the only thing he's ever really done or said, he sits on the end of my bed whenever I'm watching your show, because that's what we shared in this life. We had a passion for near-death experiences. And he's never really said anything. So I went riding in the woods on a mountain bike trail on my bike, and my dad was there, and it was like we were riding the tandem bike, because that's the other passion he gave me for riding. And so I'm like, so he's like spiritually like right behind me riding my bike with me, and he starts talking to me, which he's never done in all these years. And he's like, you're going to be surprised who else shows up here. And I'm like, okay, like I've done like psychic medium stuff where I've had people show up like from the other side and talk to me, give messages to me to give to other people. So I thought, oh, cool, he's going to bring somebody through. And I kept crashing my bike. And after my dad showed up, I crashed my bike again and like skinned up my elbow. Yeah. And I didn't know why, but it's probably like I find out later. So I crashed my bike. So I'm like paying really close attention to where I'm going and what I'm doing and what's around me. And I look off about 10 feet, maybe 5, anyway, under 10 feet, maybe 5 or 10 feet away. I saw a little juvenile Bigfoot, and never wanted to see a Bigfoot, never really thought about seeing a Bigfoot, never wanted to hunt a Bigfoot. I don't think I've even watched a documentary about it. I know those guys were on the other night, and I'm like, yeah, I'll watch that someday. But anyways.
That's pretty amazing that I've had 2 people tonight that have seen Bigfoot. And also a juvenile one. What is that, the chance of that you and the other woman both saw a juvenile one? Did you look at each other in the eyes like she did?
No, I didn't see. This one never looked at me. And like, it's summer, like it's 100 degrees here. So I'm not like riding the trail very fast because I'm trying to conserve my energy. So I'm not going that fast. But I didn't want to slow down. I didn't want to take its picture. But I couldn't take my eyes off of it. So as I passed it, I turned to look at it, and it's either like the tree was opening up as a portal to let this little Bigfoot in, or the little Bigfoot was using some kind of like cloaking technology to make it look like he was part of the tree. But I'd already seen him, and I'm like thinking he's trying to hide from me. And so I decided to pedal really fast and get out of there. I didn't want to take a picture or anything. I was kind of desperate to get out of the woods at that point because it was getting dark. And so I went back Thursday. That was Sunday. I went back Thursday because Thursday they have guided tours or like guided bike rides where everybody goes together. They're like in a group because you can get lost out on these trails. I've been lost on these trails probably for like 5 hours altogether. Wow. But yeah, so I'm riding my bike and I see this tree stump that I'm about to hit. And I'm like, shit, I'm going to crash again, So I get ready for it, but it doesn't ever happen. And I'm like, that's so weird, And like some bikers had gone by and they said, you need to put air in your tires. And I'm thinking, oh, that's why I keep wrecking, like I need to put air in my tires. And I tightened up my brakes a little bit. And then I'm going, and all of a sudden I see this, it's almost like it's a glass see-through line, and I see it coming down past me, over me. And I'm like, what the crap is going on here? It was just really weird. But it reminded me of how the back of that Bigfoot looked kind of like glassy and like mirrory looking, but I could see through it, and it came down over me. And very, very shortly after that, this kid on a mountain bike comes up really fast behind me. And so I go to the side to let him pass. Well, so did he. So we're at the same, there's no space on the side of these trails. And all of a sudden we're in the same space, and I don't understand how we're not like crashing. And I hear this voice that says, I'm protecting you. And I'm like, what? Like all my spiritual experiences are weird, right? Like, why can't I have a normal one? But no, so I keep going, and I get off that trail, and I'm like intersecting between other trails. I'm drinking some water, and I thought I heard another cyclist. So I look over off into the trails that are adjacent to where I'm at, and there I see it again. The little Bigfoot is walking in between the trees, and I see him, and then he just disappears. And he looks glassy right before he disappears.
Do you think you can get a picture of him for us next time?
I don't know if he'll let me, but I have had psychic connection to animals and have communicated to wild animals in the past multiple times. And so I thought, I'm going to try to talk to it. and it talked back. And he told me that he's 14 years old. He told me a bunch of stuff. Anyways, and what's weird about it is like the week before all this started happening with this Bigfoot, I kept smelling something in the woods, and I'm like, the only thing I can liken it to is the Walmart bathroom in the front of the store. It's like this nasty smell, and where it is, it's like on a side of a hill, so there's nowhere, like animals aren't bedding down there. So I was like, this is kind of odd, like to smell this here. And then another time I was riding through there and I heard a door open and it echoed. It was so loud. And I don't play music while I'm riding in the woods. I just want to hear the woods. And I stopped my bike because I couldn't believe it. Like there's nowhere around where a vehicle could be, or a cabin or a house. And I couldn't understand, how am I hearing a door open in the woods? So and I'm excited to go back there again. I'm not scared of him anymore.
Wow.
But
all right, Tina, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to run. I've got someone waiting on me and we're even over time. But thank you so much for coming and sharing with us. It was a perfect night.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye. Have a great night. All right, Brittany is next. All right, so 2 Bigfoot sightings in a row. That's pretty cool. And both juveniles. So what are the odds of that? What is the synchronicity of that, seeing 2 of them in one time? I mean, in one podcast. All right, so it's 9 o'clock. We're waiting on Brittany. And again, if you ever are new here, down below in the description, there is a link to the Discord. And that's kind of like Facebook, but different. It's free. You join Discord. And once you join up, you can use my link below, and that will get you into my servers, into my rooms. There is also down below a link to my NDE channel. I have a second channel that's NDEs only for those of you who love NDEs, and it's just the clips. So what I kind of do is just take out where the guest tells the NDE. There's no intro, there's no ending, there's no questions. It's just the NDE, and they're usually somewhere between 5 minutes and 15 minutes long. So if you like those type of videos, I would appreciate that you would, go ahead and subscribe and watch them. I also put down there a link to my Facebook page for JeffMara Podcast. And I also put my personal Facebook. And so for those of you that are here, there's still some of you probably that don't realize that my last name is Reynolds and my wife's name is Mara. So that's the difference. And if you're curious and saying, okay, who's Mara? JeffMara. That's my wife. But you're welcome to friend me on there. I'm accepting friends until I hit 5,000, and then I don't think Facebook will let me, have any more friends. So if you're interested, you can friend me there. And again, tomorrow's video will be with the Hollywood and Bollywood actress Seema Ramani, and we talk about her spiritual awakenings and or spiritual experiences. I have some NDEs coming up. I'm also going to be recording with the brother-in-law of the late Jim Morrison, and we'll be talking about his angel experiences as well as the spiritual experiences I believe of him, and he was friends with the Beatles, so we will see what he has to share with that. And I think I have my whole week booked already. The entire week is booked, so that's great. Some other NDEs, and I'll be having RJ Spina return, and he has some interesting stuff on healing, as well as I don't remember if he had an NDE or what. Someone asked me. Yes, it's Jeff Reynolds. That's it, and there's a link to it in the description below. So officially my time's up. There's no more guests here, so thank you guys so much for hanging out with us this Saturday night. We'll be back next Saturday night. If you are on the fence about sharing, I hope you come back next week and share with us. If you have any friends that might want to share, maybe you could talk them into coming and sharing with us. And thank you guys so much for watching the videos. We appreciate you. We love you guys. And have a great rest of your night. And God bless you.